Do this exercise for ourselves at home. Write down minimum 15 desires which comes through, and then categorize this desire on the basis of the self and body. What you would understand that you have more desires related to the self, less desires related to the body. Okay? But then what is happening, you are putting more efforts for the body and the less efforts for the self. So that one gap, one problem area you will be able to identify. Number two, you can subcategorize the same desires in preconditioning, sensations and natural acceptance. So you would be able to see that there are a whole lot of preconditioning and sensations are. So unless you work on your conditioning and sensation, this transformation is not possible. So for the transformation, it's important to be aware of ourselves and to check what sort of desires I'm having. Correct? Because this is the state of completeness of right understanding within. This is the state of harmony within. So when we talk about the lower part of the self, it looks like this now. Okay? This is the complete self. So we may categorize the self into two blocks, the B2 block and the B1 block. So this is B2 block. The B2 block is governed by preconditioning, sensations, but the B1 block is always governed by the natural acceptance. So the B1 is the innate nature of human being, the self. B2 may be enslaved imagination. Most of the time we are operating with this, having this list of the desire, correct? So there's a difference between a want and a desire. What you want, our wants are universal. What you want, I want the same thing. I want to be happy, you want to be happy. I want to live with the feeling of relationship, you want to live with the feeling of relationship. So this is what is our want. The natural acceptance is our want. But then desires may get motivated by the preconditioning, like desires to have a good house. You want to have a house or you want to have a good house? The moment this good, the prefix comes, which means some sensation is attached to it. Right? I want to have a big car. So you want to have a car or a big car? Correct? So this way we can check and we can see that how many of our desires are in align with our want, which means the universal thing, the continuous thing, and how many of the desires are not aligned with our want. So this way we can make the list of the desire, we can check our desire, and some of those desires can be removed from the list. I mean, you don't have to remove literally, but as you keep working on yourself, you will find that slowly and gradually those desires gets vanished. And you feel quite free here. So this is expectation, this is thought, this is desire. Now there was a question on what is soul, what is mind, what is self. This complete thing we are talking as self. The upper block and the lower block, the B1 and the B2, this is complete self. When it comes to the mind is being referred in two different ways. The one is this lowest activity of the self is called mind. So the mind has got only expectations. Right? So at many places they say that transforming mind to the stability, that is what the development is, because the mind is very unstable, right? The mind is called unstable. The reason the mind is called unstable, because expectations are there, and by fulfilling these expectations you are trying to be happy, so you get happiness today by eating gulab jamun, but tomorrow you have to jump on pedha, then you have to jump on cake, then you have to jump on jalebi, right? Then you have to jump on rasam, then you have to jump on idli. Why this is happening? Because the mind is very instable. So the whole journey is transforming this instability of the mind to the stability. This part of the self is called mind. At some places, this whole imagination, the desired thoughts and expectation is also called mind, because the mind gets governed by the inputs outside, preconditioning and sensation. But this is the innate nature, what we call the natural acceptance. Natural acceptance is being referred as a soul. So the soul is always pure. We say that the soul it doesn't get corrupted, right? You always say that you can't burn the soul, you can't beat the soul, you can't cut the soul. The soul is always pure, the soul is same. So what is that soul is? The soul is basically the innate nature of human being. So as long as I am getting operated by the preconditioning and sensation, I am bound to be in a disharmony. But this is the state. This is actually the state of continuous happiness. So when you see this upper activity, right, the complete transformation is possible by having the realization within. And what is that realization? The realization about what and how a human being is. What is the meaning of harmony in the family? The realization about society, the realization about unit existing in the nature, the realization about the whole existence. So when I realize this existence as a coexistence, then, and I understand the harmony in the nature, this too basically helps me to identify my participation in the larger order. And with these three content, with the content of coexistence, harmony in the nature, and the relationship, my desires get triggered out. So now the source of desire is not external, but the source of desire is coming from the innate nature. The source of desire is coming from the harmony, and this is the state of completeness of right understanding. This is what the transformation is. So what is transformation? Transformation is basically shifting from this state to this state. Right? And this is the role of education. In this state, your desires are forming up with realization of coexistence. So you have not read about the coexistence somewhere, but you have realized that coexistence within. You have realized, you have understood the whole cosmos, you have realized the whole universe, you have realized the whole existence, you are able to understand that how one single atom is being formed and how the atoms are making atomic structures and the cells are making cellular structures and how the bodies are getting formed. What is the consciousness, the coexistence between the consciousness and the material, you are able to realize every single thing within. That is the realization. And that's the purpose of being human. Okay? So this is the purpose of being human. So when you realize this coexistence, when you understand the harmony in the nature, this too helps you to identify your participation with the feeling of realization. So the coexistence, harmony, and the relationship, you are doing the contemplation on these three things, and such contemplation triggers out your desires. So your desires are forming from within and not outside. So such desires are always a harmonious desires. Then these desires, when you do the analyzing part of it, this will be a harmonious thought, harmonious expectations, and this is what we are saying, the complete understanding. This is the state of continuous happiness and prosperity. So it's a journey, right? It's a long journey. It's a slow, gradual journey, but listening to your sharing, this is just day 2, but some of you are expressing that how, you are listening to the proposal, you are exploring this proposal, you are connecting this proposal with your life. So that's very encouraging. You have attended the introductory workshop maybe few months ago or a couple of years ago. From that introductory workshop to the level 2, and in the level 2, in the couple of days, you are able to connect, you are able to relate. So that shifts are taking place. So though this journey is slow, gradual, but all those shifts are very encouraging, and the shifts basically motivate our own self to travel through and complete the journey. So this is the complete journey each one of us has to travel through. And that's the purpose of being human. Any question? Okay.
Sir, actually, the contemplation, right, sir? That contemplation. Normally, it is something like participation in larger order relationship, actually. But in that part, if I feel like if I desire to serve others without expecting anything in return, so what is that I'm doing, sir?
Your desire to
serve others.
Yeah.
Without expecting anything.
Correct. So that's such sort of desire. See, it's very simple thing. If you have a desire and the worries are associated with the desire, any kind of worry is associated with the desire, which means that is not coming out of the contemplation. As long as you have worries, which means the contemplation is not happening. A sign of contemplation, have you heard this word chintana? Chintan, contemplation. Chintana, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's a Tamil word. Yeah.
Yes.
So about the chintan, right? Contemplation, it says if the contemplation is happening, which means that's the state of no worries. No chinta. Chinta, worry.
No
right?
Okay.
Chinta means worries. So if the chintan is happening, there is no chinta, no worries. But if the worries are there, which means chintan is not happening, the manan, which means looking into the whole, looking into our own imagination, the overthinking. So the manan is happening. So this is the part where the manan takes place. This is the part where the chintan takes place, the contemplation takes place. So very sign of chintan, am I contemplating or am I overthinking? The very simple sign is if I'm contemplating, there are no worries.
Okay.
Okay. So worry free. That is contemplation.
So that means if I'm asking my question, why I need to serve the people? Do I worry for the people? Or if I don't worry for the people?
Yeah. See,
or it gives, I'm prosperous, I just want to share.
See, that's the reason, this list, we have to do a very micro and micro level analysis of this list. I want to serve the people, okay? Now, when I say I have a desire to serve these people, there could be multiple reasons for the multiple people. I have a desire to serve the people because I want to post it on the Instagram. That's also a desire. Right? I want to get an appreciation. I want to get a certificate. I want to be known as a social worker. I want to get recognition. I want to receive, President Award. Because of that, all this, I'm serving. I want to serve the people because I am worried for them. I want to serve the people because I'm able to see this feeling of relationship with them, and I'm only fulfilling my relationship. So if I'm only fulfilling my relationship, that's basically from the contemplation. So whether you are able to serve the people or not, whether the people will be able to listen to you or not, you remain in the state of harmony. You remain in the state of harmony. But by serving the people, if you are connecting it, status, prestige, happiness, that is basically, it's coming from the desire. And it's not coming from the contemplation. So this is the difference.
Surendran, SRMIST, sir. Sir, if you don't mind, could you please recollect or tell the process, sir, that you have classified this into mind and soul. So the bottom one, expectations part, is going to be mind related, and you are telling that the above one is going to be the soul in that case. So can you please tell the process, sir, because I'm not that clarified. So if you could again come up.
The process to begin with is, let's be aware of your mind. Let's be aware of the B2 block. Let us see what is happening in the B2 block.
With some examples would be good and best, sir.
Yeah. Make a list. See, this exercise we have done for the same thing. Yeah. So look into your desires. You know, every single desire you have. And see that whether those desires are in align with your natural acceptance, or the desires are being governed by preconditioning and sensations. This is the beginning, right? Let's start getting aware of your thoughts. The thoughts are going on in you. Are you able to catch your thoughts? Are you able to see your thoughts? See that what are you thinking? And all that you are thinking is as per your natural acceptance, or your thinking is because of the preconditioning, the thinking is because of the sensations. Correct? Yes. One simple thought. After this FDP today, at the end of the day scholar will go home, right? And if you are thinking that as I go home, there will be somebody with red face, right? So the thought is going on in you. What the thought? I will be welcome with the red face. Now this thought is naturally acceptable to you or not? Or this is a preconditioning? See, there is a possibility that red face will be there. There is also a possibility a pink face will be there. Right? Both these possibility will be there. But then what are you thinking? That there will be a red face. Now when you are thinking, having such kind of thoughts, are you comfortable within? Or you are not comfortable within? So check your thoughts, see that whether the thoughts are making you comfortable, the thoughts are making you uncomfortable. Okay? Start looking into your expectations and see that whatever you are expecting, are you expecting to be happy by outside world? Are you expecting that if the behavior of your husband gets set right, you will be happy? Correct? So you are expecting that your husband will make you happy. This is so conditional expectations, right? You also want to make other happy. But when you are unhappy within, when you are disturbed within, at that particular point of time, can you make other happy? No. Do you get disturbed? Husband may also get disturbed, right? The wife may also get disturbed. It's the same thing. But you are expecting that every time the other will make you happy. If you are living with only expectation, right, this is a cause of lot of issues. I'll tell you a simple example. At the end of the day, you're going home, right? I'm giving an example. When I say male, this example can also be related to the female. When I say husband, wife, mother-in-law, father-in-law, doctor, engineer, prime minister, everyone, right? But it's a human being basically. So let's say an example. At the end of the day, you're going home and you're expecting that your wife will make a tea for you. Correct? Now she has prepared a tea. But the sugar is not there, or the sugar is as per your test, is less than your test. What are you expecting? The 2 spoons of sugar, but there is no sugar. You had a test, and then immediately from here, you bounce back. And what do you say? In 20 years, you have not learned to make tea. Right? Just from here only. Now tell me, how many of you prepared the tea? Maybe sometimes regular. Oh, good. Almost 90%, 95%. Okay. Very nice. You know, the reason I'm asking you, like 95% of you are preparing tea. Now, next time when you prepare the tea, you prepare the tea with complete awareness. Okay, complete awareness, and see that how many steps are involved into it. You'll find that minimum 12 to 15 steps are involved in preparing a tea. Right? The step number 1, Madan Palli. Yeah. The step number 1, you have to take a pot, teapot, right? Number 2, you have to have that sugar box. You have to have tea leaves, milk, right? Just taking pot is not enough, but you have to put that pot on the stove. Just putting it on the stove is not enough. You have to, turn on the gas, right? Now, when you are turning on the gas, the lighter is required. Then you need to know how much amount of water, how much amount of milk, how much amount of sugar, how much amount of all these things. Then ginger also. And cardamom. Right? All those things are required. Then the boiling point of the tea. Count it till you serve, minimum 12 to 15 steps are required. And she has followed all these 12 to 15. Only one she has missed out. What was that? Adding a sugar. So someone who followed 12 steps correctly missed only one step, but for that what you are saying? Past 20 years. You have not learned making cup of tea. Is she expecting such sort of reaction? No. Now your reaction is not matching to her expectation, so she also jumped from here, and she also says that, I know that what are the things you have done in the past 20 years. Right? Are you expecting this reaction? No. Then you also react. She also reacts. And then the tea happens. From here, take it to the little higher level. Right? Take it to the thought level. Immediately, in the fraction of a second, this can happen. How many times I ask her to make a tea? Maybe 2 times a day. How many times she prepares the tea for me? 60 times in a month. How many times the sugar is not there? 1. 59 times she has prepared delicious tea. 59 times. Isn't that enough? And out of this 59 times, 50 times you have not even asked for the tea. But she prepared and she served. So when you are doing this analysis part, when you are doing this comparing part, it's only every day that sugar is not there, or 2 times is missed out, 5 times is missed out. You take it little to the desire level and see what is her desire. If she wants to make you happy or not. Do you want to make her happy or not? Right? So, bouncing back from here, this is called reactions. Reaction. And this reaction is the whole cause of disharmony in the family. But then sometimes what happens? You don't react outside, but you keep reacting inside. That's called reaction inside. But if you take it to the little higher level, from here, if you are responding, it is called response. And the response is the communication. A reaction inside is debate. Reaction outside is fight. So do you want to communicate? Do you want to have a debate, or you want to fight? Each one of us can decide upon. Right? So this is, if you are bouncing back from here, this is reaction inside. The reaction inside is equally dangerous than reaction outside. There is possibility that while serving the tea, she may not be talking anything, but the sound of the cup and saucer is enough. right? The sound of the vessel which comes from the kitchen is enough to understand that there are some reactions are going on inside. Now, what would be your responsibility at that particular point of time? If the other person, any other person for that matter, is going through such disharmony, what would be your responsibility? You will also go in the disharmony? Or at least you will take a pause. If you take a pause and think for a while, you will be able to do the correct analysis of the situation and the things goes harmoniously. See, yesterday in the group discussions, I was giving this example. If there are these two wires, if they comes in contact with each other, there's a short circuit. Correct? If I can become one wire and I decides not to come in contact with the others, the short circuit will happen. So not necessary, and don't wait for others to change. The other may change, other may not change, but you can be that one wire who can change. If you are that one wire in the family, you will find that the whole environment and the atmosphere of the family changes in 5, 6, 7 months. If you are that one wire in the department, you will find the environment of the department also changes in 3, 4, 5, 6 months. But I can be that one wire. In the break, there was a question, how long do I need to take an initiative? Right? How long do I need to do the compromise? The simple answer is that as long as you have this natural acceptance to live with the feeling of relationship. And that is your continuous natural acceptance. Every moment you want to live with the feeling of relationship. So if every moment you want to live with the feeling of relationship, every moment you need to take efforts. Need to take an efforts not to change the others, but need to take efforts to change our own self, to develop within. I don't prescribe generally, but let me tell you something. Please don't do this, okay? I'll tell you the list of the do's and I'll tell you the list of the don'ts. Please don't share the content of UHV at your family. Okay? I'll tell you the reason why. You will not share the content. You will not place the proposal, but immediately you will go in the home and you will say that, count your clothes and you have more than your requirement. There will be fight and there will be disharmony. Right? You will start expecting the things from others and you will impose the things on the other, and you will, expect that the other should behave like this. That will cause a lot of issues. Do share the content of UHV with your family, but not as your content, but place it as a proposal. A very safe side, you can simply go home and tell that, today in the workshop we have discussed these things. I am having little difficulty, and that is the reason I want to discuss with you. So I am discussing with you, and let us try and understand and help me in understanding. That's a very safe place. This way you can take the content. Okay? Number 2, this is a proposal. So place it as a proposal. Okay? This is number 2. Number 3, please do not change your behavior. Please do not change your behavior. Because if you try to change your behavior, that sudden change in your behavior will be very difficult around you to accept. Because the people are living with you, in your family, in your college for so many years. Do you have images of the other? You have the images of the other, right? So based on their behavior, you have constructed their images. Similarly, based on your behavior, the people have constructed your images. And if suddenly if you change your behavior, it will be difficult for the people to accept it. So don't change the behavior, but do keep working on the self-development. If you keep working on the self-development, it will naturally reflect into your behavior. Okay, it will be naturally reflected into your behavior. Next important thing. Now, all of you have done introductory workshop, you are doing to UHV-2 workshop. A participant who is sitting in this hall, if it belongs to your department or your college or your friend, your known person, at the end of this workshop or during the workshop or in the break, if that participant is not able to have the expected feelings in herself or himself, please don't ask such participant that is this your natural acceptance. Because what happens, we keep evaluating others. We keep looking at how the others are behaving and we keep criticizing the others because the other is not able to behave. In that things we completely missed out that I am also not able to behave continuously. Okay? So you are also in the process of understanding, I am also in the process of understanding, each one of us are in the process of understanding. So we can help each other, we can complement each other for our development. You can help me for my development, I can help you for your development. So together we can develop, right? Together we can develop. Otherwise what happens, because I had gone through this. When I and we started, having this workshop, then our friends, many times our director, many times our HODs, all the times, if anything has happened, they used to say, is this your natural acceptance? Once, one of my friend, he gone to HOD's cabin, to get a leave. So he had submitted the leave application and the HOD asked him, is this your natural acceptance? Tell me what is the connection between natural acceptance and leave? These are two different things, right? These are two totally different things. When we say natural acceptance, this is the natural acceptance. But if you are not aware, if you are not having the clarity of the word, if you are not able to understand the reality of this particular word, then please don't bring these words in your regular communication and conversation. Please don't bring. Otherwise, the people get confused. Immediately if you start using this word, natural acceptance, exploration, harmony, right? These words are not there in your vocabulary. I share my example. Like 3-4 years ago, I was talking to one of my friends who lives in Mumbai over the telephone. He had some dispute with his brother. And then, I listened to him and then I asked him, you want to live with a feeling of relationship, opposition? He was not able to catch it out, right? I again asked relationship, opposition. He was finding it very difficult. And then suddenly I realized this relationship and opposition, these words are difficult for him to understand. So simply I asked him, see, do you want to make panga? Making panga is opposition in Mumbai language, right? So simply I asked him, do you want to make panga? And then he said, no brother, I don't want to make panga. So we use, right, in our language, in our home, our daily communication, keep using the same vocabulary. Words are not important. What is important is the feeling we communicate. We learn from the other. Do we learn from the words of other or from the behavior of the other person? Tell me. Learn from the behavior, right? If you are saying a very pure word, but your behavior doesn't matches with what you are saying, can you accept this person? So the words are not important. What is important? Our behavior, our feelings. So if we have stability in our feelings, if we have definiteness with our behavior, and then if you use the word, then the word becomes an important tool. So some prescription, because I don't want these accidents in the family. Otherwise, imposing things, expecting things from the other. Happiness is not from the other, but the happiness is a state of being harmony within. Okay? Okay, we can break. Bhaiya?
dealing with the self and the body, and we say it is a coexistence, and the other things we have seen, where it said that the need of the body is not continuous, whereas the need of the self is continuous. So for example, if I have some money and I use it to buy some clothes, which is to satisfy my body, so that is not continuous. And if I use the same money to gain some knowledge, like getting some books or something like that, which is going to satisfy myself, and even in that case, that is not a continuous thing. So whether, if that is not a continuous one, can I take that to satisfy the need of the self?
Need of the self is basically right understanding and right feeling. So all that efforts you are doing to develop this right understanding and right feeling in the self, that satisfies the needs of the self. And you may or you may not require money for that, right? You may or you may not require. For example, to travel for this workshop, money is required. But then you can sit at home and do this contemplation within. You can sit under the tree, do the contemplation. You can go to the mountain, do the contemplation. You can sit anywhere. Because the development is going to happen in the self, by the self, and the self is always there with you. So you don't have to travel, right? You don't have to read even the books. If you develop that ability to look within and realize within, because eventually you're going to realize the things within. The realization is going to happen within. Reading books, attending workshops, listening to the audios, videos, these are supplementary things. This supports our transformation. So at initially stage, all these things are required.
Sir, you mentioned dimension, whether it's a state activity or static activity.
Yeah, it's a...
Because here we mentioned dynamic activity. So that another words, whether it should be static activity or state activity.
Yeah, it's a state activity. Hema Didi, your question, same. So this is the state activity, okay, not statics, and this is dynamic activity. When we say the dynamic activity, this changes, right? But this is the definite part of the self. This has got the indefiniteness, this has got the definiteness. For example, realization. Realization is a definite thing. Whether you realize, I realize. You know, I'm going to realize the truth, you're going to realize the truth. So the truth is one or truth can be two. So the truth is only one. See what is happening today, it's the same truth is being realized by different people living at different places in the different time zone. Someone has realized this truth 5,000 years ago, other may have realized this truth 4,000 years ago, or maybe 100 years ago, maybe in the Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh or Kerala, right? Within India or outside India. So let's say an example, the one person has realized the truth in Tamil Nadu 2,000 years ago. Another person has realized this truth, let's say in Bengal, 1,000 years ago. So the person he realized the truth in Bengal, he has communicated the truth in Bengali language. Correct? The person who has realized the truth in Tamil Nadu, he has communicated the truth in Tamil language. Right? What is the word for water in Tamil? Tanni. Yeah, what is the word for water in Bengal? Jal. Now what is happening? The Bengali person would say jal, the Tamil person will say neer. And we are fighting with these words. We say that this is neer, this is not jal. They say that this is jal, this is not neer. But if you see the reality, both of them are indicating the same reality. So the reality is always same. This reality gets expressed differently. So this may different, but this is same. So this is the state activity which always remains constant and same and definite. Okay? This changes with this. So that is the difference between dynamic activity and the state activity. Right? Another example, let us say respect. So the feeling of respect is the same, correct? The feeling of respect is the same, but the respect can be expressed differently at different locations. Someone may touch the feet, someone may fold the hand, someone may hug, someone may kiss, someone may say Assalamu alaikum or good morning or namaste, right? All these are the different expressions, but the feeling is the same. So that same thing, the definite thing is the state activity. The thing which changes is dynamic.
Back for today's next session, and I will invite Umesh Bhaiya to start with the session.
Okay, so let's continue. In this session, we'll be focusing on lecture 11 and lecture 12. We have already covered content in lecture 10. Two important things in this session: understanding the feeling of prosperity and understanding self-regulation. This is what we have been discussing since yesterday evening, that human being is the coexistence of self and body, which means human being is the coexistence of consciousness and material. We need the physical facility to nurture the material, to protect the material, and to do the right utilization of the material. These are two different terms. The one is the health and the other is self-regulation. So when we say health, health is associated with the body. Okay? What is the meaning of health? The meaning of health is, number one, all the parts and the organs of the body are in harmony. The hand is there at the hand's place, feet are there at the feet place, nose is there at the nose place, and they are functioning well, which means the body is healthy. Okay? So the body acts according to the I, which means body is healthy. For example, I want to go to college. Who wants to go to the college? I, right? Body has no want. I want to go to the college, and body, I'm able to take the body to the college. So healthy body. I want to go to the college, but the body caught fever. So I'm not able to take the body to the college. So I say that I'm unhealthy. So the health is associated with the body, and there is another thing, self-regulation. So the self-regulation is the feeling of responsibility to nurture, to protect, and to do the right utilization of the body. Who is responsible for your body? Who is responsible to nurture your body? You or the others? It is your responsibility, right? Whose responsibility is to protect your body? Is this your responsibility or the other's responsibility? Who has this responsibility to do the right utilization of the body? Is it your responsibility or the other's responsibility? Yours responsibility, right? See, if you have a vehicle, maybe a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, this vehicle needs petrol, right? If it runs on a petrol, if it is a petrol vehicle, it needs a petrol. And there is a petrol station which is just located on the next door. But you have heard from someone that the vendors in that petrol station, they sell impure petrol. And the pure petrol is available 10 kilometers away from your home, where you will take your vehicle. Next door or 10 kilometers? Why? What will happen if you put impure petrol? Are you sure you will not go on the next door? Are you sure? 10 kilometers, long distance? You will go? Yeah, I'm talking about the regular situation, in the regular environment, 10 kilometers only, no next door. You are so careful about your gadi, the vehicle. How about this body? What about this body, right? You are not ready to do any sort of compromise with your vehicle. How about this important vehicle? All this journey of the self is possible with this vehicle only. So the responsibility towards this vehicle is self-regulation. So self-regulation is also important, the health is also important. Out of these two, which one become more important? The self-regulation. If the self is able to follow the self-regulation, self will try to keep the body healthy. But if self is confused, confused with sensations, confused with food, if the self is not able to select the proper food, the self is not able to select the proper drink, then what will happen? Lots of impure things you will keep putting inside the body. And that may cause damage to your, engine. Because it could damage to the engine of your vehicle. So the responsibility to nurture, responsibility to protect, responsibility to do the right utilization of the body is self-regulation. And to fulfill this self-regulation, you need to have physical facility. For example, to nurture the body, you need food. To protect the body, you need clothes. To do the right utilization of the body, you need instrument. All these things are required in limited quantity or unlimited quantity? Limited quantity. Okay. So this is what basically the meaning of prosperity. What is the meaning of prosperity? The feeling of having or producing more than required physical facilities. Why do you need more? Why not enough? If you have enough for your family, will you feel prosperous? If you have enough for your family, okay, and I come to your home as a guest, but you have enough only for your family, will you feel prosperous? So the more is required to fulfill our relationship and not for the accumulation. That's the reason the more is required. So the more is required for the fulfillment of the relationship and not to accumulate. In this definition, these two things are important. Number one is the identification of required physical facility. So what is required to protect my body? What is required to nurture my body? What is required to do the right utilization of my body? So what all those things which can protect, nurture the body? Food, water, sunlight, and air. What is required to protect the body? Example, clothes. What is required to do the right utilization of the body? Some sort of instrument. If my workplace and my home is 15 kilometers away from, then I need something to commute, right? A vehicle is required. That vehicle may be owned vehicle or the college vehicle or the public vehicle. But a vehicle is required, right? So this thing is required to do the right utilization of the body. So these two things are important. Number one, identification of required physical facility. Number two, ensuring availability or production of more than required. Can you produce your physical facilities? One simple example, right? Can you produce your physical facilities? Vegetables, correct? Even staying in apartment, can you produce vegetables? See, every single apartment has at least 1 or 2 pots. and we are producing flowers into that pot. So there can be a rose plant, and next to the rose plant, there can be a coriander. So the coriander will also grow, and the rose will also grow. At least something we can produce. Something we can produce organically and naturally. Because most of the issues today, issues related to the health, is because of the poisonous food. Correct? So we can produce our required physical facility. This equation is important. A prosperous person thinks of right utilization and nurturing other. I'll tell you, my own example. In my college day, I was the student of NSS. And once we went to construct 2 kilometers road in a village. On this particular day, me and my friend, we missed out our lunch. And the food was finished. Right? Water was also finished. So we were thirsty, we were hungry, we went to our teacher. Our teacher said that go to the village, you will find some water, drink water, you may find some food, get the food and come back. We started walking. Just after a few meters, like 500, 700 meters, we saw a small hut, a very small hut. There was a big neem tree in front of the hut. It was afternoon. Important things to be shared. In the whole afternoon, there was nobody around that small hut, but the door of that hut was open. It was not closed. So I just peeped in and I said, is there anyone inside? So an elderly lady like my mother, she came out and she asked me, yes, beta, yes, child, what do you want? So we have introduced ourselves. We say that, we are here to construct a road and we are very thirsty. Can I have a glass of water? So she said that, please be seated under the tree. Nice shady tree, neem tree, big tree. So we sat there. She brought this water. Okay. It took us 5 minutes because we were very tired. After 5 minutes, what we saw, that lady came outside with a plate. And there was bhakri, the millet bread. We call it bhakri in Marathi. A chopped onion, few chili, and she offered it to us. And then I said, Auntie, we never asked for the food. She said, beta, you don't have to ask for the food. This is lunchtime. And just by looking at your face, I have realized that you must be very hungry. So have it. This is the only thing I can share with you. We had that. A prosperous person thinks of nurturing other. A prosperous person thinks of doing the right utilization of the physical facility. But sometimes we may get, example like we go to G2, G3 or an independent Bangalore. You are there at 11 o'clock in the morning. You are there, sitting there till 1 o'clock. The people are also hungry, but they don't dare to ask you that we are also hungry, you are also hungry. Can we share the food? Can we eat? Right? Is this the prosperity? Prosperity, which means that feeling that I have more. I have more than my required. If I have hundreds of idlis prepared at my home, but if one person comes and I don't get that feeling that I can share one piece of idli with this one person, is that deprivation or the prosperity? It's a deprivation. So deprived person always thinks of accumulation and exploiting others. Now many times we get a lot of news. There are so many complaints about the corruptions. What do you think? Why the corruptions takes place? Is because of the deprivation or because of the prosperity? It's because of have they able to identify the need of the body, or because of there is a confusion and trying to be happy with the physical facilities. So if we set a right education, the holistic value-based education, if we impart to the student, then the student will be able to develop this clarity within, that the basic purpose is the continuity of happiness, and the happiness cannot be derived with the physical facility or sensations, but the happiness is the state of being in harmony within. Now let us talk about, I'm just skipping the slides because we talked on this. Let's talk about the program to ensure the health of the body This is the responsibility of the self or this is the responsibility of the body? Okay. Who is responsible for your health? You yourself or medical insurance companies? You or the doctors? You or the mother? I myself, right? I am responsible for my body, for their body. So that feeling of responsibility to nurture, to protect and to do the right utilization of the body, this is the feeling of self-regulation. And this is the program to ensure the health of the body. Out of this program, number one is the intake and routine. So what's the most important things to ensure the health? Is intake. We consume the things, right? The fuel to the body. And this is the intake: air, water, sunlight and food. In the whole environment of the earth, we have air, we have soil, we have water. What is there in the maximum quantity? Air, water or soil? In the environment of the earth. Air. Number two, water. Number three? Number three? Sorry? Yeah. It's written air, water, soil. So in the environment of the earth, I'm not talking on the earth. In the environment of the earth, air is more, maximum, second is the water, and the third is soil. Our body is also made up of the same thing, the nature. So what is required for the body? Maximum air. Look at body, such a sophisticated instrument. We keep breathing. Why the breathing is there? Because the air is required for the body, to keep the body healthy. Then second requirement is the water, and the third requirement is the food. Okay, air, water and the food. Now air we are breathing. Are you breathing? Very nice. Now tell me, if you are breathing, which means what you are doing? Inhaling. Can you witness your inhaling? Can you witness your breath? Can you feel the breath? Okay, tell me. Feel the breath, take the breath inside and tell me where the air is going. Lungs, nice, yes. Lungs. And? Heart, okay. And? Throat, okay. And? See? Entire part of the body, very nice. And? All right. Take only three long and the deep breath. Only three. The long and the deep. And then observe, feel where you can push, up to what portion you can push the air. Very nice. Right? That newly born baby breathes properly. If you see a baby breathing, you will find the stomach is up, pumping down, because we can push all the way to the navel point. And then it stops. And then you breathe out. So this is the proper way of breathing. If you do proper breathing throughout the day, that requirement of the air is being filled. But if you are not doing the proper breathing, sometimes we say that we are so busy that there is no time to breathe. And literally we take it to the throat only. You are already busy and then not taking a proper oxygen level. That causes a lot of issues. I mean, issues with your stamina, with your energy, with the other organs. So this is air. Water is the another important thing. Okay? How to drink water, when to drink water, there are a lot of research available, but a very simple, common, easily acceptable theory is that minimum 3 to 4 liters of water a day. The best time to drink water is early morning. When you get up, as we say, bed tea, so it's basically the bed water. You get up and drink water. How to drink water? If you have forgotten, look at the small baby again. You'll find that the baby doesn't consume the water directly, but he do the gargling and then sip by sip the baby drinks. The very reason for that, this has got the saliva, right? In the night, you had dinner and then you slept. So the body is not involved in doing any sort of physical activity. Some of the food gets digested, the remaining food gets rotten in the body, and that rotten food creates acid. Saliva is alkaline in nature, so alkali subsidizes acid, and that helps in minimizing most of the diseases which are acidic in nature. So the first thing what we can do is drinking water. Drinking water, cold water, hot water, warm water, water shall be close to 25 to 30 degree temperature every time, even in winter, summer or rainy season. The reason, all these things what we are consuming, this goes to the pancreas, and the pancreas helps in digestion process, and the temperature of pancreas is 37. So if you consume something which is like 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree or minus, then pancreas demands the energy from the different organs. So it will demand the energy from nervous system. It may demand the energy from the cardiac. So those systems will have deficiency of the energy. Ice cream? Ice cream? Okay. A very hot tea? Okay. So we can understand these things. Okay? So are they okay or they are not okay? That you have to see. Right? So this is the water. Early morning, if you drink, you can start with 1 glass of water if you are not used to. But, the expectable quantity is 1 liter of water early morning. Early morning, if you drink 1 glass of water, 2 glass of water, sip by sip, then immediately you will find the natural pressure comes on. And then you go to the washroom. The things happens very naturally, because that's again a big reason and the cause of many other diseases, the constipation. So the natural pressure is there because your stomach is full of water. Do it, come back, come out, and then brush your teeth. If the tongue cleaner is there, then it's fine. If the tongue cleaner is not there, put these 2 fingers in your mouth and take all this water out. It's a body cleansing. Whatever the acid is there in the stomach, that acid comes out. And your body is totally ready to consume the food. Before filling up the new stuff, the tank has to be clean and empty. And then you can eat the food. Okay? Before the food, after the food, during the food, try to avoid drinking water immediately. Right? 10 minutes after the food, if you drink water, the very simple reason. This digestion takes place in pancreas, in Tamil also it's called Jathar Agni. Jathar Agni, right? Agni. Jathar Agni. Yeah, it's Agni. It's Agni. It's a flame. If you're putting water on the flame, what will happen? The same thing happens to the pancreas. So let the food get digested and then start drinking water. Then throughout the day, you can drink water as much as you want. After every 15 minutes, half an hour, you can drink water. The food, important thing. You are having this food to nurture the body. So the first quality of the food is that food should be nutritious. All nutritious food are digestible. The digestible food is excretable, easy to excrete. And every single food has got a test. Are you aware of the test of the potatoes? Test of eggplant? What are we doing? We are putting spices in everything, and every vegetable tastes the same. But the nature has got its own taste, right? The lady's finger has got its own taste. The potatoes has got its own taste. Tomatoes has got its own taste. So the food is there, the tasty food is there. So this way, intake. The second is routine. Routine is basically the rising time and the sleeping time. So intake and routine, right? We talked about the intake. The routine part is basically rising time, sleeping time, eating time. All these things has got an effect on the body. All this thing has got an effect on the body because our body is also part of the nature. So generally, 10 o'clock in the night till 4 o'clock in the morning, this is the time where our body do lot of things, the organs, the functioning, revisiting the function, all such kind of things happens. So this is the best time to sleep. Now, at least by 10 o'clock, we need to go in a deep sleep. If possible, raise at 4, 5 o'clock. So this is the best time. So the second is the labor and the exercise. Labor is basically when we do the labor with the rest of the nature and we produce physical facility. For example, farmer. Right? Farmer is putting labor. So that is what is called labor. We live in the city area and we don't have that opportunity to do the labor. But then few things we can do, like as a part of our exercise. And what are those things we can do? Sweeping, mopping our home, cooking food, washing clothes, drying clothes, ironing clothes, walking, if you are going somewhere close, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, walking to those places, walking outside to buy milk, walking outside to buy vegetable, instead of, all the time driving. So this sort of exercise we can do. And many times, we have this complaint that we want to spend the time with the family, but the time is not there. So this way you can do, right? She can wash the cloth and you can stand by her. Or you can put the clothes to dry. You cut the vegetable and she will prepare the vegetable. Both the things will happen. What will happen? You will ensure your participation into the family institution, and at the same time, you will be able to spend that time together. So this is exercise. Postures for regulating the internal and the external organs of the body. So this postures involves the sitting posture, standing posture, sleeping posture, right? Look at your backbone. Our backbone is straight or our backbone is bended like this? It's a straight backbone, right? If you are keeping your backbone straight as possible throughout the day, that's a very healthy posture. If you look into the body, there is circulation. Everything circulates in the body, right? So if you are sitting like this, like you all are sitting on the mattress, this basically helps in that circulation. But if you are sitting on the chair like this, I'm breaking this circle. So when the circle gets break, that creates an extra pressure on the different organs of the body. And then at very young age, like 20, 25, 30, you will start having knee pain. The reason for the knee pain is that you are hardly bending your knee. What is happening today? In the sofa, we sit in this posture. Dining table, we sit in this posture. When we commute from home to the college, if there is a bus, there is a car, in the same posture. As soon as you come to the college, you sit on the chair, you're sitting in the same posture. Not only this, but even when you go to the washroom, there is a commode. So you sit in the same posture. So most of the times you are sitting in this posture. There is hardly any bend exercise to the knee. So if this exercise is not happening to strengthen the external organs of the body, then those issue comes, right? So little bit of exercise every day. And exercise doesn't mean that you have to go to the gym. In our school days, we have done this physical training, the PT, right? Even we do the PT at home. Doing PT it's enough. If 1, 2, and 3 is not working, then medicine. But whatever you want to eat, you will eat and then try to digest with having Hajmola. Can this be the program, or eating those things which can nurture the body? So the program to ensure the health is not based on the medicines available, but if you follow this 1, 2, 3, then most of the time the body is healthy. But anyway, the body is material, and the another material things around us are going to have an impact on the body, then the medicines are required. But for the medicines, many a times these medicines are easily available at our home. Our Indian kitchen are the medical stores. We have to understand the medicinal values of the ingredients that we are putting in the vegetables. And we can use such kind of medicines. So a lot of home remedies are there to bring the harmony back to the body. If the medicines are not working out, then the treatment is required. So to ensure the health of the body, this is the program: intake routine, labor, exercise, the proper breathing, and the proper postures, the body postures, medicines and treatment. Any question here? Any question? Shall we move to the next? Bhaiya? Yeah. Air, water, sunlight and food. Yeah. The food is basically, it's... See, the sunlight is also important. I mean, it is required for the body, but then how many times we are getting exposed to the sunlight? So even when we are sitting in the college, right, sometimes we move outside, out of the building to get that sun rays, that sunlight. It's also required. Can you go on the next presentation? Puja Didi is there. Any question? Okay, so yesterday and till this moment, we focused on our own self. Now, we'll be focusing on me and the other. So, opening of third module is ensuring harmony in the family and society. Yes.
Sir, I am last one day session. I came to know that self is a tool to understand our body and surroundings. Okay, is it okay, sir? It is a tool?
Yeah, self understands.
Yes.
Self has a potential of understanding.
Okay. Is it possible to compare the self with God?
What is the meaning of God?
God also, we cannot see God, and similarly self we cannot see. Self doesn't have any composition. God also doesn't have any composition.
We have discussed the composition of the self in the previous session.
Okay.
Right? Self is a unit. Self is a unit.
Okay.
See, what is happening today, if I can see something with the eyes of the body, so what I'm seeing with the eyes of the body is the form and the property. If I'm not able to see the form and property, I start believing that it doesn't exist. But are you existing or not?
Existing.
So I am there, right? We can understand the natural characteristics of the self. We can understand the inheritance of the self. So when we discuss the harmony in the nature, keep this question open. That time, you'll get some insight on this particular question.
Okay.
So the reality. The body is also reality. So when we say reality, which means something exists in a real fashion, is reality. Okay. And then about the God, keep this question also open. When we discuss harmony in the existence, we'll talk about the God.
Okay.
Question?